much for coming. I don't want to say much before the film, but I'd love to hear what anyone has to say after. But yeah, thanks for coming here. It's a beautiful. This film took quite a while to make, and I think the few of us who worked on it really poured our soul into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy to present it here.
Any questions? Comments?
Change her surname.
Sona?
Mohapatra. And Ram is, the surname she has not changed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true for many of us, I guess. For me also, and for my friend Kaveri here, many of us. Yeah, that's right. She hasn't.
I found her too aggressive actually, and on the stage and stuff like that, I felt as if, she was, I felt, maybe she was under influence of some, chemical drugs or whatever, because, she was too aggressive. I mean, we have seen so many, singers singing, performing. So I personally, I know this equality thing, I have been also fighting for it all my life. But for her, I felt that, she's too aggressive. And did you want to project her that way?
I feel she is how she is, but I also feel like I had been friends with her for 10 years before this film was made, and through those years, we were often talking about both our careers. For me in cinematography, where there weren't too many women in the beginning when I started my career, and her as a singer, and she would often tell me how the number of female solos are going down. And if you study the last few years, there's hardly any female solos at all. So I completely align with her fight and what she's saying. There's no taking away from that. And I mean, what you're saying, I mean, that is everyone's personal right to be how they fight. For me, my protest is much quieter and through my work, but hers is vocal. And even though we feel similar things, I find her way of protesting very inspiring. I can't do that.
But what does it matter if she is good in her profession? She has to just stand for herself. Why are you, am I going to be bothered about, other women? I'm a professional, I'm a doctor, but, I fought for myself all my life, but I don't care about other people. Why should I waste my energy? Why other people are coming up or not? She's actually fighting for herself. Why she has not been invited? So don't say it is a, she's fighting for all other women.
Yeah.
She's fighting for herself again.
Yeah, as all of us are.
Yes.
But sometimes people who come to the forefront and fight for themselves, it does help change things for people who might come after.
Yeah.
And that's valid enough, I guess.
Yeah.
You have a question? There's something
No, actually, I just wanted to say to her that there have been many concerts recently, like musical concerts, and if you see their lineups, they are mostly male performers.
Yeah.
And when we see the crowd also, the crowd that Post Melon had, I don't think that amount of crowd would have been there if any female, international female performer would have been there. So it's not just about one person, but it's also about entire industry as a female, how we look at female performers. So if we are talking about how Sona Mohapatra is not is being for like asking for her personal invite, it's not just about personal invite. If tomorrow I am going for a music industry, it's something that will inspire me or have a path for me also. It will also be for my recognition.
I have seen Sunidhi's Chavan concerts and all. I think there were equal number of spectators. So if you are good, you pull that crowd. That is how I feel.
Hi Deepti, this is Ziba. I hope you remember. What an amazing film. I wish Sona was here because she's super
Yeah.
inspiring. I really wish she was here. I want to also take this up. I think all of us don't fight for ourselves only. We've been protesting every every male panel that is out there. It's not just our industry. I know Deepti has been one of the forerunners of the women cinematographers movement here. I know how much as filmmakers we struggle, and not just filmmakers. Recently there was a panel of startups where there were only male startup founders. There was a banking panel where there was only male bankers. This is there in every single industry, and it's time that every time you see a panel, every time you see a committee, the IDPA just now has voted 12 of its committee members, all 12 are men. The Indian Documentary Producers Association. So, I mean, every time you see something like this, I think we all need to raise our voices and question that how can you not have women representation? I think we need equal representation. Deepti is fabulous at her work. I have seen her work, I have worked with her. We all are fabulous at our work. But we need the opportunity. You know, this what Sona said that Vishal asked her, where are the women? We are there. We are there. Maybe look a little harder to find us, because not all of us are really out there. Look harder. So many people have asked us, where are the women DOPs? They're there. They're doing outstanding work. But we need to find them and bring them to the front because they're amazing. And sadly, we're just outnumbered all the time and out-represented most of the time. So please, whenever you see a panel, whenever you see a committee with all men, please raise this objection. That's my only thing. And thank you so much, Deepti. This was very inspiring.
Yeah, she's trained classically in Hindustani music since she was a child.
Yeah.
Hi Deepti. I'm also a part of IWCC. I'm also a cinematographer, so I can totally relate to what was shown and how shot it and the friendship that you guys share and everything. And in IWCC we share a lot. You know, I know. And all the hardships and everything we talk about, right from what shoes we should wear on the shoot to how people are behaving with us as cinematographers. So I wanted to say that you, when you started, there were not many women cinematographers. But now I'm inspired by you because I get to know so much from you. So that ways I should not, if I am responsible for something, then I should fight for everyone. Why should I fight for myself? Because there are other people who are going to be after me. So then I should be for them also. I should give them that power also. So I think that was a very great thing, that this film was really good. And also, why are we called aggressive? Because when we have to survive. I'm from Delhi, I have to survive there. So when I came to Bombay, people thought I was aggressive as a Delhi girl. Because I had to survive. I had to bloody travel in the bus, and everyone used to brush. You know how that works. But then why? I should talk now. I should just open my mouth and just say that this is not fair. Why? Why should I go through that? And then we are called aggressive. So I don't think it's right. It's just that it's, I don't know, we should live also. Now, why are we surviving? Why do we have to need, why do we have that need to be aggressive? So yeah, thanks for this film, and it was really inspiring. She's very inspiring, so energetic. So it was like really nice. Thank you.
Thanks, Durga. But having said that, you're right. We can fight for ourselves. We can fight as a collective, as a group. Or, for example, if we don't want to fight, if we want to be in our center and do our work to the best of our capacity, everything makes a change. So I don't, I mean, if someone chooses to be aggressive, that's fine. Because, but even people sometimes who fight for so-called selfish reasons, they may cause a change, and that's great.
Yeah, because sometimes what I'm not like, it's
I
not
feel
the
always
fight.
are okay. is
Correct.
what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
that's
say.
true. I totally agree with you, because sometimes people don't want to fight. They don't want to be in that conflict. But
Yeah.
sometimes it just comes till here, and then you have to say something.
I think
So-
we have to choose all kinds, we have to
Correct.
seize all kinds of ways, because
Yeah.
till 100 years ago we couldn't even vote. Everything makes a good change.
Yes.
So
Thank you so much for this.
Last comment, I'm sorry. She's a voice, okay? So we have to appreciate her voice. She doesn't have to expose herself to get attention. That is my point of view. That, she should be appreciated for her voice, not for how she dresses.
yeah, but I think the reason that I named the film Shut Up Sona is like too many meanings. On one hand, people are telling her, shut up, तुम गाना गाओ ना यार, बात क्यों करती हो? But on the other hand, I feel like if a person has something to say which aligns to so many of us, we need to listen to her. So,
हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ मैं?
Please.
मैम, आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्री देख कर मुझे बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर की याद आई कि उनका जो फ्रीडम था दलितों के लिए, ये महिलाओं के लिए, उनका जो फ्रीडम चाहिए महिलाओं के लिए, वो देखकर अच्छा लगा मुझे। मेरी हिंदी भी बहुत अच्छी नहीं, इसलिए
हाँ,
हिंदी मराठी में।
थैंक यू। एक्चुअली फिल्म में काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें हैं, अलग अलग तरह के जो ग्रुप्स होते हैं, औरतें हैं, there's many communities that you see in the film. बस ऊपर से छू के बताया है कि सबके साथ एक ही चीज़ हो रही है। एक्चुअली अगर आप मेन स्ट्रीम नहीं हैं, हमारे देश में मेन स्ट्रीम क्या है वो तो अभी सबको पता है।
It's me here. Is this Sona Mohapatra the same girl who was started off like a girl band? 3 people?
No, that's her sister Pratichi Mohapatra.
What was her name?
Pratichi.
Alright, okay.
She's a wonderful singer too,
Okay, so,
but she's not a troublemaker.
no, I'm very pleased to see this young lady's journey. I thought of her, she was Pratichi, because I've seen her years ago on TV. But no, I think it's nice to see, I'm of the little older generation, that somebody's sitting and still fighting. Sometimes you think that nobody's fighting, because you don't hear those voices. You don't know that there's a fight going on. So I'm glad that you brought this up. Apart from anything else, I'm going to go and listen to Sona's music, because I haven't heard it before actually. And so thank you for that.
Thank you. Actually, I put in a lot of songs of hers that she doesn't sing on stage, but I love to hear them. They give me goosebumps because they are music of her childhood. So there's a lot of that in the film that one can't easily get online.
1 second, there's Kaveri here. She's waiting. Yeah, Kaveri. No, go ahead.
Okay, Deepti, I love you, and you know I love the film. And I wanted to say that even though I have seen it for the second time, at the exact same point, again my eyes welled up, and this fight is going on in every home, everywhere. And what is so interesting is to see that the aggression and the power in her has overshadowed the whole journey, and that's the first point that comes up. She's taken you to her childhood place where she's told you were caged up, with moms feeling shame that 3 daughters have come out of her, 1 daughter is outspoken. I mean, if it's basic psychology, when you are going through all of this, where does aggression come from? It is anger, and it is, some people just don't want to be suppressed, like you and me. So I think that whether someone is vocal on a screen, on a stage, or in their own homes, role models are important. And you are a role model, as someone just said, for making this film. She's a role model for speaking these things. I don't know if many men would have come to see a film like this earlier. Right now, many men are there in this theatre. There has been change simply because people like her speak up and make it public. So, thank you for making the film.
I just want to say it's a really nice film. I mean, this fight has been going on God knows how many years. As a man, when everybody sees it, there is no sense of equality which exists now, and it's stuff like this which will hopefully one day, make things equal to everybody.
This is as good as it's been ever, actually.
Yeah, it's the best I'm going.
Hello, ma'am. So I would just like to thank you for this film, because personally, being a 21-year-old, there are many things that we experience, but it's just sometimes it's a lot of strong feelings, but we can't just put it into word or picture it, and it's hard to explain to those who just tell us that, oh, it's just how it goes, and that's how things work. You just have to learn to go with the flow. But yeah, this film was just like the entire all those feelings just put it into like.
I have just a very simple logic as far as this differentiation between the male and the female gender is concerned. And my answer to that is, it is a fear psychosis that men suffer from. And that's the reason they do not want to see women come up. I mean, in a lighter vein, I feel threatened if I see a woman standing next to me who's taller than me. But all the same, this is my simple answer. Yeah.
Deepti, one more question. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay.
I'll give it. There's a lady here who wants to go before you. It's on.
Thank you. Really wonderful film.
Microphone, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely wonderful film, and to this really enriching and very interesting conversation about aggression and women and the roles that we are and are not allowed to hold, and the feelings we are and are not allowed to express. And I think you did a really beautiful job of normalizing aggression, normalizing anger, and creating a space to talk about, are women allowed to be angry? Because we are, and that can lead to really beautiful action in some cases. One moment that really struck me in the film was she makes a comment about this isn't a question of religion, but this is about being a woman. And I think that's was really interesting, and it stuck with me because so much of all of our identities are at the intersection, whether it's the intersection of being a woman and religion, race, ethnicity, country of origin. We are all kind of the product of these multiple identities and this positionality that we hold among all of these. And I wonder, in your own experience and in your industry, if so much of it is about being a woman and about that fight, or if you feel that your different intersectionalities and your positionality, if some of that comes out in the work you do as well.
Wow, that's a very complex question. No, you're right. There are multiple identities and they play differently. But I think so much of discrimination, it's only when it's aimed at you that you notice it. So otherwise it's invisible. So I mean, for example, about me, I noticed since the beginning of my career that being a woman to the person who was looking at me was the main thing they were seeing. Whereas all I wanted to be was a cinematographer. I don't want my gender to come into play. But it's not being seen like that by the person who's looking at me. But what I'm taking for granted, of course, is that luckily I belong to a certain class in India, or that I went to a film school that I went to. All those are things I take for granted. But of course, they are layers, is privilege, which we don't notice. So, you're right, and this is a protagonist who has her own privilege, definitely. But in spite of the privilege, if you hit a wall, because even the privilege is not able to make you equal, then what do you do? Where do you go from there? And like IWCC, the Indian Women Cinematographers Collective, now has more than 90 members, I think, Durga.
Great.
But in all of Bollywood film industry, the mainstream films being shot by women cannot even be counted on this hand. So what's really going on, so you are right, in spite of the multiple, sets of privileges or non-privileges, if one factor becomes so decisive, in spite of your training, in spite of your education, in spite of your talent, then it's okay to talk about it and shake it up a bit.
Sorry, one more question. From a filmmaking point of view, at what point did you start documenting her journey or what this was about? And when did you stop? And were there those moments where you felt, I have my film now? Like, why do you stop at a certain point? And were there those moments where you said, okay, this is what's going to make the film?
Very precise question, Deepa. It started when the IIT controversy happened, when IIT had asked her to come the third time in their history of Mood Indigo. And the third time, yet again, they said, but can you come with Ram Sampat? And one of the students actually told her on a phone call, ma'am, मैं आपको कैसे बताऊं, लेकिन female headliners ऐसा IIT में होता नहीं है. That is what made her completely lose her mind. And she said, then why should I come? And I'm going to rake up a fuss about it. That's when she wrote these open letters. So that's when I started filming. The first day of shooting was with her and Ram, when she's decided to write that letter, and he's convincing her and playing the balancing act of saying, Abhi mat likho, 3 din baad likhe. You'll be branded, all that. And I stopped. I did know that I had the film. It was on the last day of shoot. Which was actually after the editing had been going on for a year.
We were parallelly editing.
Not parallelly. I thought I was done.
Okay.
But I wasn't happy with what was happening in the edit. And the Sufi Madaria controversy broke out. And I thought, I have to shoot this. I have to. And my editor held his head. And I said, but this is the spine of the film. This is what is going to carry it. So that was the last day.
Thanks.